Hello and welcome back to the Canadian Virtual Tax Conference. We're just going to give people just a couple of seconds just to wrap up. I know there's a couple other sessions that are going on, so just going to wait just a minute or two to let people come through. I hope you're enjoying the event today. We've got some great opportunity to do an interview here with Chandra, and looking forward to it, have some questions as well. So if you do have any questions, and you're welcome to put them in the event or in the stage area. I'm just going to give it just another 30 seconds or so before starting, just to make sure that we have everybody and everybody has found their way over. So great to have you on board. I was in the networking area, had a chance to meet a couple of people. It was good connections, and hopefully you were able to do the same. And we do actually tack on an extra 10 minutes at the end of the event to allow you to go do a little bit more networking and a little bit of time to check out the expo area as well. So you're welcome to use that time to do those two areas as well. And if you go into the event area and you go into the people area, you can see different people that are here and request for private video conversations with them. And we also have, under the event area, we have some polls available as well. One click and good to do. And it gives us some great information about who you are and what you do and so on. So let's get started. Thanks very much again for being here. Chandra Sekhar Kancheti is tax partner at Maurice Morneau Tax. So Chandra, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No problem. We're here at the Canadian Virtual Tax Conference. So Chandra, you've got a great tax background, and why don't you talk a little bit about what you do in your firm and kind of tax work that you do as well.
Yeah, our firm name is Maurice Morneau Tax, and we have offices in Toronto and Windsor, Windsor being the headquarters. And we do many types of tax returns, especially I do a lot complex US and Canadian tax returns. And this is why many CPAs from Toronto, Ottawa, they choose me, they gave me work to do like some non-resident Canadian tax work or US tax work, something like that. So we also do estates tax work, and recently with the new technology, we introduced a new app that's called Maurice Morneau Tax app, where a customer can go directly and submit the documents, and we will finish the tax returns and send it to them. So this app is first in Canada. One like that is from my invention. So this is very helpful for the people. It's a 1 to 3 step process, like submit, pay, get your taxes done. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about your background as we go along here. So early in I guess early in the 2000s, you got your bachelor's degree, marketing, and I don't know, at that time, did you think about doing your accounting, or was that when you did your MBA in accounting in 2005?
So even before that, when after 10, it will be like you can choose what stream you want to be. So I choose then only being an accounting, and that is a business administration, which also has accounting. And I have done my MBA, which also has accounting. So, and then now I'm almost done with my CPA course, but in the middle, I was doing in-depth tax. I'm most interested in taxes, so I did the in-depth tax. In-depth tax is the one of the top level tax course, where you will be learning how to deal the tax cases, or like how to refer the Income Tax Act to settle some kind of tax issues that you have. And then I worked with Belaiche in most complex US taxes. Like it is the like our tax returns takes at least 120 to 200 hours for individual tax return to be prepared. So that kind of complex tax returns we have done with the Belaiche, and so many US gift tax, partnerships, S Corps, C Corps. After that, I worked with Ernst & Young on global mobility, like people who move from Canada to US, US to Canada. So I have a good hold of both Canadian and US taxes.
Terrific. So you're a Big Four. You've worked at some smaller firms as well.
Yes.
And now you're basically managing partner at your firm now, right? So
Yes.
maybe talk about what your challenges are, what your experiences are as a partner as well. And hello, Vinay.
Hi, Marc.
Hi. We'll get to you in a sec, Vinay. Chandra, do you want to just talk a little bit about
Yeah, challenges definitely with the COVID. It's difficult to how do we deal the customer? Like the customer used to come into the office and talk to them directly, right? Like now it has to be so much of administrative work than before. Now we cannot meet them, so they have to drop, and then you call them, question them, and then they get the answers. It's little difficult, but it is also relieving when you don't have a customer in front of you. It's both challenge and an advantage. Yeah.
Excellent. So if you're just joining, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Chandra Sekhar Kancheti is tax partner with Maurice Morneau Tax in Windsor. And Vinay Khosla just joining us as well, tax partner at Bateman, MacKay, LLP. Welcome, Vinay. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
So we just talked with Chandra a little bit about, kind of his background. Maybe you can share a little bit about your background as well. And nice to see you again. It's been a little while.
Great. Yeah, Marc. I've got my originally what was known as a CA. Received that back in '97. Did the in-depth tax course, law 1, 2, 3, and kept going with corporate reorganizations and wealth preservation. Took, I think, pretty much every in-depth tax course except for excise tax, which never was a keen interest of mine. And went on to, I've only practiced tax planning, minimization, estates and trusts. That's being corporate reorganizations, and I've also done quite a bit of M&A tax as well. So that's my background to a significant extent.
Okay, terrific. And Vinay, why don't you talk about your firm too, Bateman MacKay? It's got a great presence in the west end of Toronto. So,
sure. Bateman MacKay, we're a full-service CPA firm. We're about 42 people and growing. I help head up the tax team. Reporting to me are 5 full-time tax professionals. They've all done either enrolled in their in-depth or passed their in-depth, and they each have carved out their own little niche. But we all do general tax work like reorgs and estates, trusts, and CRA appeals, that kind of thing. But within each one of them, some, let's say, gravitate towards excise tax. Others gravitate towards international. We do some cross-border tax as well. So it's a mixed bag of tax planning and compliance in our tax group. Then we are a licensed public accounting firm. We do full-blown audits, IFRS revenues anywhere from 0 to a couple $100 million and everything in between. So that's the audit practice, and then we do a fair bit of advisory work.
Excellent. So if you're watching and you have some questions for Chandra or Vinay, feel free to post them in the chat, and I'm happy to moderate. So Chandra, maybe you can talk a little bit about kind of what the challenges are aside from COVID, but just what do you see as the biggest challenges on the tax side right now from your perspective?
Mainly, I cannot hear you.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, Peter, you're live.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, Chandra, go ahead. Chandra, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm just joining right now.
Chandra, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So,
Yeah, go ahead, Chandra. Peter, you're live, so just hold on. I'll come back to you in a second. Chandra, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, again, I mean, it's not just only administration. Even with the new benefits and everything, we are doing a lot of background work for the taxes. Like there are so many years of taxes that people are bringing in for the getting the benefits of COVID and everything. Yeah, so that is like it is increasing. It is a good. It is challenging, but at the same time, it is good. You are getting more customer. So that's what I think.
Perfect. Okay, Peter Rowe has joined us as well, CEO at Global Tax Services. Can you hear me, Peter?
Yes, I do.
Okay, terrific. Glad you can make it out. So, Peter, you missed the beginning part, but perhaps you can talk a little bit about, we're here at the Canadian Virtual Tax Conference. Perhaps you can talk a little bit about yourself, what you do, a little bit about your organization.
Okay, we have an office in Toronto and Montreal, and I have been an accountant for the past 26 years. I studied Schulich, the Young University accounting major with the MBA. We just same as other accounting firm, but our emphasis is on the international taxation as well, and some of the large corporation that branch operation in Canada. So we have a fair amount of exposure to the international taxation, non-resident corporations. And possibly the personal taxation is the one that all these foreigners, non-resident, is the one taxes our part of our business, accounting exposure.
Hey, terrific. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining. Vinay, maybe over to you. Is what do you think are the biggest issues right now that you hear from clients? Like we have just to preface that, we have people that are watching that are business owners, tax professionals, and other interested people. So kind of from your perspective, what do you see as the biggest challenges right now from a tax perspective?
Sure. I see perhaps dark clouds kind of forming on the horizon. Pre-COVID, we had CRA receive an extra over 2 federal budgets, $1.5 billion of additional funding related to verification and enforcement. And then COVID hit, and we have unprecedented amounts of government spending. And the most recent federal budget didn't call for any major tax increases. Well, there were no tax increases. So the other shoe has to drop. And I see intense CRA verification and enforcement activity. Clients need to get their ducks in a row like never before. They need to fully appreciate the tax risk of any positions they may be taking, and most importantly, when in doubt, seek the advice of a qualified tax professional, and don't just settle on like, yeah, he said this, but get the advice in writing. So that can at least help protect them from possible imposition of 50% gross negligence penalties, which I also see CRA imposing almost as a knee-jerk reaction to any significant reassessment.
Yeah. And are there parameters in terms of what's significant, or what are is it to do with wage subsidy? Is it to do with are there specifics, any certain programs that you're seeing?
Well, we will see. We will the subsidy, the wage subsidy, the SERS, and the upcoming hiring, the Canada hiring program grants. They're all new. We are starting to see some preliminary audits on SUS. We haven't seen much on SERS. But there's going to be a fair bit more forthcoming on SUS, I would have to imagine. I don't see, unless it's egregious, I don't see CRA imposing gross negligence penalties on SUS necessarily. I see more standard gross negligence penalty, like them looking to impose gross negligence penalties on tax filing positions, where taxpayers would say, well, this, for a simple example would be, this expense, in our opinion, is business, and there may be very much a business related expense. Or another example would be, let's say on a house flip.
Yes.
Whether or not that house flip is on account of capital income or qualifies for principal residence exemption. So if CRA agrees to disagree with the taxpayer's filing position on that house sale, I think by knee-jerk reaction, they may be throwing in gross negligence penalties, irrespective of whether they're warranted or not, as a matter of fact, because gross negligence penalties are a question of fact. I see them just throwing it in there.
Okay.
I have seen that like this also. Same thing. Capital gain flipping.
Okay, sorry, just give me a second here. Peter, if you can hear me, please put your microphone on mute because you're live. Otherwise, I'm going to just remove. Chandra, go ahead if there's anything.
Yeah, that 50% penalty we have seen on the same situation, like capital gain flip being an ordinary income, and they charge 50% gross negligence penalty. Penalty plus interest. It's been a lot of money, and we've questioned this area. What is the threshold or whatever? They don't have anything as such. They just throw that. They don't have, like, if it is $10,000 or if it is $100,000. Every dollar is different for every person. So it is different. So they charge it.
So it's for a business owner who might be watching, and do they get a warning? Do they get is it an audit? Is it just blank assessment, and you've just been charged with not only what's owing, but also these 50% penalties, or how would it work for the average?
It is on the owing. They charge a 50% penalty. Again, the one that we looked at is net worth audit, which is complex. What would happen with this COVID benefits and everything? Someone who, like, there are percentage of people who may try to get the benefits. Those people, what we need to warn is that big of money, when you have to pay back, that means if you say, for example, you have to pay back 40,000 of wage subsidy, for example. So again, 50% on top of it. It's like CRA gave you for interest 50%. They take it back.
More than credit cards.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner watching now, what do they do? What should they do? Peter, what have you been involved with this as yet, or have you seen this?
I involved some, but I think all of the change coming on the accounting is the one technology driven lately. Because right now COVID-19 accelerating the technology introduction to our industry. Accounting, and the territory is the one, used to be the one regional to national, from the coast to coast. So I'm sure that you got a new client from the other province. And I have a fair amount of contact lately in the COVID-19 or before or after. And the COVID-19 is the one changing fair amount on there. So there is also the skill set, people working in this industry is the one has been changing from the typical accounting traditional to decision making in the bookkeeping cost is going down, the technology driven. So bookkeeping cost going down, but at the same time the tax issue is the one more serious, and people is the one. For example, like Amazon and the people living in Toronto, they can sell in the US. So this is the one. It's just not the border. The line is the one that are crumbling, the barriers. And so I expect that this one is the one impact to all the client and our industry as well.
Fair enough, yeah. Chandra, let's talk about your app because it's brand new and you're using it. Why don't you talk about what it is and a little bit more about what it does as well?
So we have introduced a tax app. So that what app does is you will log in with your credentials and submit all the documents for preparing a tax return, either US tax return or Canadian tax return. And once you submit, we will review it. We will send the fees code, and they will pay it on the app. Once they pay it, we'll complete it and we'll send them the tax returns for signature. That's all it is done. If they want to talk to us, there is a chat button. There is a click button to call us. So they click on the button and they call us. It's both on Android and App Store. It took a lot of time in this Android and App Store to get it approved and like digitally everything. We are improving more on that. For next year, we are going to be like, this is the first tax app. It's not like there were apps where someone can go in and do their own tax. It's not like that. Many people like to get the tax done by a professional. We do our tax professional do the tax returns. It's just the convenience that we are giving to the customer.
I see. Vinay, maybe talk about your career. Like, you've done well. You've a partner in a good-sized firm. Maybe for people watching or tax professionals who want to kind of aspire to get to your point in your career, what are the things that you've done, that you've worked, that has made you get to where you are? Maybe some tips, maybe some takeaways that somebody can have.
Yeah, so I think I always followed my passion, which was working with business owners and providing them with proactive tax advice. So I first figured out what I really love to do and what I don't like to. So early on in my career, I figured auditing was not for me. I was probably a reasonably lousy auditor. So I realized that very young in my career. At the time, I was with a mid-market accounting firm. They didn't have much of a tax department to speak of at the time. Then they brought in the national tax partner of Grant Thornton, and I put up my hand to work for him. So I guess at that stage, getting a good mentor is key. Then I realized he's stretched. And a great guy, really have a lot of respect for him, and I enjoyed him as a person. But I'm not getting enough one-on-one time with him. He was a partner. There was no one in between. So I was looking for a bit of more infrastructure. The tax market at the time was white hot. I put my resume out there and had more job offers across national firms, industry, and everything else, and other mid-market firms. So at that stage, I was confused. So I stepped up to my partner at the time, told him I'm leaving. I've got all these offers. What should I do? and he was great. He goes, okay, you like working with business owners, so stay mid-market or smaller. So that took away the national firms, their offers. It also put aside industry. And he then said, you have to figure out if you really love public accounting and public practice, you really want, and if you're of the fortitude where you want to make partner, go smaller. Smaller the better. So I took his advice, but at the same time I went a bit larger because I still wanted that kind of mentoring, technical mentoring. So I went to a firm at the time known as Minson Partners, and I was there for about 5-6 years, and learned a lot from the people at Minson Partners. It since got acquired by Deloitte in around 2005, but it was a great tax boutique, great mentors. So that's my advice. Like, figure out what your passion is, find good mentors who you can learn from and work with, and who will help take your technical and also not just your technical, but your non-technical to the next level. So at Mint, I was working with guys who encouraged me to get involved in public speaking, a lot of business development, and article writing, trying to, and of course, practice management, WIP billing. So you're really looking for a well-rounded education where you're working. It's not just about showing up, doing a few tax returns or some planning memos, and then going home. You want to make the most of your experience.
Excellent. Great takeaways. We have just a couple minutes left. Peter, any other comments that you have? Anything you want to add to anything anybody said or promote something?
Okay. Just on my experience, the one past about 5 to 7 years, spending more time on the foreign taxation. The tax treaty is the one getting more complex because the typical tax treaty is the one about more or less 10 pages. It cannot cover all the items. So some major countries, the one they signing that the additional treaties, and which is cover just the primary the tax treaties add up, and studying these things is just very time consuming, and but it's reality, and you know that the return to the on my side is the one investment is the one fairly paid off because the tax dollars is the one we're talking large amount, quite zeros. So 6-figure plus. So client is the one willing to pay. So this is the one industry we might be looking for because as the trading volume is the one growing, and the trade is the one not just used to be the product, the good, and now services coming as well, all the IT. So the cross-border issue, including that the tax treaties and the plus side is the one this industry might be undervalued and on the services, and we might be looking for it.
Great.
Comments to you?
Can you repeat? Can you repeat your question? Okay.
Any other last comments to you? We have just a minute or so left. If there's anything else you want to add to anything or comment on anything?
No, we are good. I'm happy.
Good. All right, terrific. Well, thanks very much for all of you for your advice. The Canadian Virtual Tax Conference. Thanks for all the speakers, the panelists we've had. Today's event has been presented by TorontoJobs.ca and TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca, powered by Event Logic with a K.ca. I want to thank the panel, Vinay Khosla is tax partner at Bateman, MacKay LLP, Peter Rose, CEO at Global Tax Services, and Chandra Sekhar Kancheti is tax partner at Maurice Morneau Tax. My name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. How did you like the event? Let us know. We'll send you a survey in the next 24 hours to complete. Let us know how things went, what you liked, what you didn't like. I want to thank all the team as well, Alex, Rachel, and Sandra, Sarah, Carla, and all the speakers as well that we've had in the afternoon. Also want to thank TorontoJobs.ca for promoting the event and sponsoring it. If you have any staffing needs, feel free to reach out to sales@TorontoJobs.ca, TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, you want to check it out for upcoming events as well. And Event Logic with a K.ca. If you'd like to sponsor, exhibit at, or speak in an upcoming event, visit the website eventlogic.ca. Again, we have a number of great virtual events coming up. I'll post them in the stage area or in the event area as well. And you can visit TorontoJobs.ca/news for all kinds of great links. And you can also come to our next week's event. The Thursday, June 3rd is the Canadian Virtual Lawyer Speed Networking event. Wednesday, June 9th is the Canadian Virtual CPA PD Day. And then on Tuesday, June 15th is the CPA Firm Partners Conference as well. So lots of great opportunities there to connect, and also can stay connected with TorontoJobs.ca on our social media at the links added on there. And feel free to connect with me if we're not connected already. My LinkedIn link is on the right-hand side there as well. And also you can subscribe to our YouTube channels as well. Lots of great videos there. And we also have a Toronto Entrepreneurs Conference YouTube channel too. Now we do tack on another 10 minutes that you can go into the networking area or into the expo area if there's any exhibitors or sponsors that you want to check out as well. And I hope to see you at one of our future events. And thanks for coming. Thanks again to all of you on the panel. Stay safe and be well.
Thank you, Marc.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.